Have you ever met someone who felt so easy to talk to, so effortlessly comfortable, that within a few days you were telling them things you hadn't even told your closest friends? What if that comfort wasn't an accident? What if it was a test, and you passed it without ever knowing you were being graded? If topics like this, psychology, human behavior, the quiet mechanics of how people read and influence each other, are the kind of thing that pulls you in, you might want to subscribe because this channel breaks that stuff down every week. Here's the part almost nobody realizes. Manipulation rarely starts with a lie. It rarely starts with control or pressure or anything you'd notice in the moment. It starts with information gathering. Before someone tries to influence you, they need to know one thing first. What will you actually tolerate? And the way they find out is so small, so casual, that most people never clock it as anything at all. Picture this. You meet someone new, a friend, a coworker, someone you're dating. It doesn't matter which. Early on, they make a joke at your expense. Nothing cruel, just a little jab, delivered with a smile, easy to laugh off. What they're really doing is watching. Do you laugh along even though it stung a little? Do you let it slide instead of saying something? That single moment tells them more about you than a week of conversation ever could, because now they know where your line is, or whether you have one at all. Then come the small favors. Can you cover this? Can you help with that? Nothing outrageous, nothing you'd say no to, but each yes is quietly building a pattern, and patterns are what people use to predict how you'll respond to bigger requests later. This is reciprocity at work. Once you've said yes a few times, saying no starts to feel disproportionate, even unfair, even when it isn't. Somewhere in there, a boundary gets nudged. Maybe they show up late without apologizing. Maybe they read a text you sent to someone else. If you say nothing, that silence gets recorded as permission. Not because you meant it that way, but because to someone paying close attention, an unenforced boundary might as well not exist. You'll notice the attention isn't always steady either. Warm and present one week, distant and hard to reach the next. That inconsistency isn't carelessness. Psychologically, it's one of the most effective ways to keep someone emotionally invested because unpredictable reward keeps you chasing the good version of them instead of questioning the pattern as a whole. And maybe the most quietly telling test of all, do you apologize for things that were never your fault? Someone brings up an old, unrelated mistake in the middle of an unrelated disagreement, and somehow you're the one saying sorry. If that happens easily, it tells them exactly how much guilt they can lean on to get their way. None of this means every joke is a scheme, or every late arrival is a manipulation tactic. Most people who do these things aren't calculating villains. Sometimes it's just carelessness, a bad day, an old habit. The difference isn't a single moment, it's the pattern. One overstepped boundary is human. A pattern of overstepped boundaries that only stop when you push back. That's information worth paying attention to. The real skill here isn't becoming suspicious of everyone you meet. It's learning to notice your own reactions when you laughed off something that actually bothered you, when you said yes to avoid feeling difficult, when you apologized just to keep the peace. Because the people worth keeping close are the ones who don't need you to pass a test at all. If this changed how you'll notice things going forward, hit like, subscribe for more like it, and let me know in the comments which one of these hit closest to home. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, send it their way.